I first heard about the children in a place that had no reason to remember them. A county records office, fluorescent lit, smelling of paper and dust and something faintly metallic. The clerk didn't know why the file was there. Still there. She said most early settlement anomalies had been consolidated years ago. Misfiled under agricultural disputes or church inventories. This one had survived because no one could decide what it was meant to be. It wasn't marked folklore that mattered. The folder was thin, too thin for the weight it carried. Inside were copied letters, code summaries written in an uneven hand, and a single church note stamped with a seal that had been pressed too hard, as if the person holding it had been afraid their hand might shake. The phrase appeared again and again, always slightly altered, never clarified. Children of an unfamiliar color. Not sickly, not bruised, not marked. Unfamiliar. The incident occurred on the edge of a colonial farming settlement that no longer exists under that name. The land still does. Fields reclaimed and replanted, roads rerouted, but the original boundaries were swallowed by time and zoning. The records referred to it only as the Low Fields, an area where fog settled early and stayed late and where livestock had a habit of wandering without being noticed. The children appeared at the edge of a harvested field, not carried, not led, not chased. They were simply there. A boy and a girl, similar in age, though no one could agree which was older. They wore clothes of unfamiliar cut, not foreign, not ceremonial, just wrong in proportion, as if made by someone who understood the idea of clothing but not its conventions. The fabric was coarse, dyed unevenly, with a faint sheen that caught light strangely, and their skin, every account hesitated there. Green, not painted, not stained, not mottled. Green is something grown without sun. Green as shade that had learned to breathe. They did not cry when discovered. That was the first thing that unsettled the workers. Children lost in fields usually scream or run or cling. These two stood still, hands close to their sides, eyes scanning not the people but the horizon beyond them, as though waiting for something else to arrive. When spoken to, they did not respond, not refusal, not recognition. The language used to address them, English, fragments of Dutch, even broken prayer Latin, slid past them without purchase. Their eyes tracked mouths moving, sounds forming, but meaning never settled. It was the look of someone hearing noise, not speech. The boy held something tightly in his hand, a small, dried bundle wrapped in leaf fiber. When one of the men reached for it, the boy recoiled instantly. The first sign of fear either of them showed. His reaction was sharp, practiced, like a reflex learned early. They were taken to a nearby house, not forcibly, not gently, carefully. Every record stressed this point, as if the writers needed to convince themselves afterward that what followed was not the result of cruelty. Inside, the light revealed more details. Their hair was darker than expected, almost black, but with a dullness to it, as though color had been absorbed rather than reflected. Their eyes were large, dark, and unblinking, fixed on corners of the room instead of faces. The green of their skin deepened indoors, shifting subtly with shadow. Food was offered, bread, milk, cooked vegetables. They refused everything, not by shaking their heads, by ignoring it entirely. Hunger, if they felt it did not operate the way it should have. It was until someone brought in fresh beans, uncut, raw, still in their pods, that everything changed. The children reacted instantly. The girl moved first, reaching with sudden urgency, fingers trembling as she pulled the pods toward her chest. The boy followed, clutching at them with both hands, breathing fast, eyes wide. They tore the pods open and ate greedily, not tasting, consuming. Shells, fibers, stems, none discarded. They ate as though this was not food but confirmation. Witnesses wrote that the green of their skin seemed to deepen as they ate, as if color itself were being replenished. That night, they slept on the floor, curled tightly together, facing the same direction, toward the door. No one slept well. The house creaked with normal sounds, but every time someone stood, the children's eyes opened instantly, tracking movement with unnerving precision. They did not speak to each other. They did not whisper. They did not even touch, except when the boy's fingers brushed the girl's sleeve, as if checking that she was still real. In the early hours, a sound was reported outside. Not a voice, not an animal. A low vibration like wind moving through a space too narrow for it. The sound did not approach the house. It lingered at the edge of hearing, circling, patient. The children did not react. They were already listening, and for the first time since their arrival, their expressions shifted, not to fear, but to recognition, as if whatever lay beyond the fields had finally noticed where they were. The sound outside did not return. That absence unsettled everyone more than its presence had. The men who stayed awake longest swore the night felt like incomplete, like a sentence that had been interrupted before its meaning could settle. Even the animals noticed it. Chickens refused to roost. A dog tied near the fence strained against its rope until its throat went hoarse, staring not into the dark, but slightly above it, ears pinned, body low, tail stiff with something like restraint rather than fear. By morning, the children had not moved. They remained where they had slept, still facing the door, eyes open, watching the space just beyond it. When someone spoke, they looked up politely, attentively, but again, nothing connected. Sound reached them, meaning did not. The bundle the boy had carried remained clutched in his hand even while sleeping. It was pried loose only after careful effort, fingers stiff and reluctant to release it. Inside were more beans, shriveled and dry, wrapped in fibrous leaves that no one could identify. The leaves smelled faintly sweet, but wrong, not rot, not planned. Something closer to damp earth left sealed too long. They were not sick. That point appears repeatedly in the records, emphasized with strange urgency. No fever, no swelling, no rash. Their eyes were clear, their breathing steady, their hearts strong and regular. Whatever their color meant, it was not illness. The local minister was sent for. He arrived with a book under his arm and caution in his posture, the kind learned from too many visits where belief had been requested too quickly. He attempted prayer first, aloud, measured, precise. The children watched his mouth carefully, eyes following each word as if it were a physical object moving through the air. When the prayer ended, the girl tilted her head slightly, not confusion, interest. The minister asked their names. The boy answered, or attempted to. What came out was not gibberish. It had structure, rhythm, repeated sounds that returned with purpose. The syllables did not assemble, any known language in the region, but they were consistent, spoken with confidence that rather than desperation. The girl spoke next. Her voice was softer, but her phrasing matched the boy's exactly, as though she were repeating something already agreed upon. The minister closed his book. Later, he would write that the children spoke with the certainty of those who do not believe themselves lost. They were asked where they came from. The boy raised his arm and pointed, not toward the forest, not toward the road, but toward the low stretch of land beyond the fields, where the soil darkened and crops grew unevenly. He spoke again, the same unfamiliar syllables, and then added something new, a longer phrase that made his breathing hitch at the end. The girl's hand tightened in his sleeve. When the minister asked him to repeat it, the boy refused, not by shaking his head, by lowering his arm and stepping back. That night, something changed. The children ate again, beans only, and drank water cautiously, as if it were optional rather than necessary. Their skin tone, witnesses noted, appeared marginally lighter, not healed, not corrected, simply altered, as though exposure to this place was affecting them in ways no one yet understood. The sound returned, closer this time, not circling, waiting. Those who heard it described pressure rather than volume, a sensation of air thickening along the edges of hearing. It vibrated through wood and bones alike. Settling behind the eyes, it did not enter the house. It did not need to. The children rose simultaneously. No panic, no haste. They stood, hands at their sides, eyes fixed on the door with an expression that stopped anyone from touching them. It wasn't fear. It was expectation mixed with restraint. The girl spoke again, not to the people in the room, but to the space beyond the walls. Her voice carried the same structure, cadence as before, but this time the syllables stretched longer, weighted, deliberate. The sound outside shifted in response, not louder, satisfied. The minister stepped forward, intent on intervening, but the boy raised his hand sharply, a universal gesture, unmistakable. He spoke a single word, forceful, final. The minister stopped. Later he would admit he didn't know why, only that something in the boy's voice had made disobedience feel like a mistake he would not survive. The sound faded again, retreating without movement. The children sat back down. Nothing else happened that night, but the fields beyond the house were found altered the next morning. Soil pressed flat in long, curved patterns as if something had rested there without weight. And for the first time, someone wrote what they had avoided naming before. The children did not seem stranded. They seemed delayed.